should all have had enough with this cabinet and this government's failed approach to economic growth while our country stares down the barrel of a looming recession. And it's this government's problem. They have failed to repatriate manufacturing. They have failed to inspire investment in our country. And they are making it harder for women in my community to put loaves of bread in their cart. And I've had enough. And people in this place have had enough, Mr. Speaker. And people across this country have had enough. So I challenge every Liberal backbencher here today, tomorrow morning is their caucus meeting, to stand up and say what that one person said off the record to a reporter. Enough with the woke shit. Sorry, Mr. Speaker, I take that back. I apologize for my unparliamentary language immediately. I'm very sorry. Enough with the woke stuff. And get on with the plan. And it's right to be passionate with this because we have to do better things to protect Canadians from inflation.
His climate rebate comes nowhere near $12,645 for this farm family. 2, his carbon tax has not hit a single solitary emissions reduction target. It has not worked. And 3, in the month of July, when this family was paying $12,645 in his carbon tax, supposedly for the environment, the Prime Minister jumped on his private jet 20 times. High carbon hypocrisy. He can't tell us how much the tax will cost. Will he tell us how much carbon he emitted in that month of July when he was raising
the Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, you don't have to convince Albertans or Saskatchewanians who've dealt with wildfires that climate change is real. You don't have to convince British Columbians who've seen record levels of floods that climate change is real. You certainly don't have to convince Atlantic Canadians who are rebuilding after yet another storm of the century that climate change is real. People know we need to take action on that, and that's exactly what this government has done by putting a price on pollution to ensure it's no longer free to pollute anywhere in the country and given more money back to families that need it. When is the Conservative leader going to get serious on climate change?
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
The Prime Minister hasn't gotten serious on climate change. He has a tax plan, not a climate plan, that has raised money for his government but has not reduced emissions or hit targets. Now, this Prime Minister has the audacity to call this farm family polluters while he jets around in his private jet across the country. What the effect of his plan will be is to drive up domestic food production costs, drive that production out of our country to more polluting lands where it has to be transported longer distances. Why does he want to drive prices and emissions up and farm production and opportunity down?
Trudeau got called out for his high carbon hypocrisy. Isn't that always how it goes? The loudest climate advocates are always these politicians that have private jets and fancy cars and all this stuff, and they don't practice what they preach. That's always the story. I love how in the Canadian Parliament and in the UK they do this too. They just basically scream at each other back and forth. It seems like that would be so much fun, and you really get it all out of your system. But yeah, like this kind of fiery back and forth was great. Trudeau looked like a total clown by the end of it. There's no reason why he needs to take a private jet. Why can't he and a couple of his security guards fly commercial and save on gas, save on oil? This is a classic case of do as I say, not as I do, and we're getting tired of it. If you want to be taken seriously as a climate activist or an advocate of this agenda, then you need to practice what you preach. That's the first step. You cannot be a total hypocrite, a high carbon hypocrite like Trudeau is.